Here it is. We are here for the Lakers post-game report for Showtime Forum, and I don't even know where to start, but we said it. This is what we said. We were counting down. We said one more game. It is officially now no longer one more game. We are now going to the NBA Finals. James Michael, I already see you saying job not done. We're going to celebrate tonight. We'll get to the job not done tomorrow, but tonight we celebrating. We turning up tonight.
Let's go.
Let's go. I'm sorry. I am not in Kobe mode for the next 2 hours. Right now, I'm basking in the 10-year drought being over. We're going back to the finals. Okay, Chaz, talk to me, because you already out there. You already in a party. So talk to me tonight, man. What's up?
Look, man, I've secluded myself in the back room of my cousin's house party that she had with just some family members, a little bit of social distancing, but we had to come out for this one. So I told you I wasn't gonna miss the post game. If we lost, I wasn't gonna do it, but I told you if we won, I kept my word. We are on Showtime Forum.
Yep.
1 by 10.
Yep.
LeBron James is the best player in the world. There is no question about it. 38, 16, and 10. That fourth quarter was amazing. He made unreal shots. That shot going across the lane on Jeremy Grant, classic Bron fade. I tweeted out, unreal. That three that he hit at the top of the key, that fadeaway, hitting the free throws, the and ones. I mean, what more can you say from this guy? I mean, he said, he said his teammates told him, take us home. He took us home. Job's not finished. But we're going to enjoy this one. We're going to enjoy this one for sure. Peep the shirt. You guys already know what it is.
There it is.
Peep the shirt. Shout out my boy Javi. Shout out my boy Aldell.
Right here. There we go.
Mama forever, man. This
there
is for
we
you.
Go. Man, yeah, listen, you said it. I think this is what we've been trying to say all year. I think the reason why we've been so annoying as Lakers Twitter is because when the season started, all we heard was Kawhi, all we heard was Paul George. And listen, I know I've been trying to keep them out of the conversation, but we got to. All we kept hearing about was Giannis, all of this stuff. At the end of the day, what you saw from LeBron James tonight is why he deserved the MVP. And if you go back and ask any of those people who voted, I guarantee you this man gets way more than 16 votes. But
it's not even close.
Not even close.
It's not even close to what they voted as. I mean, if you want to just give PER and stats throughout the first 64, 66 games of the season, obviously Giannis was the MVP. Just from a statistical standpoint, but if you factor in those intangibles, man,
you can't. That level of pressure. There were moments where LeBron was like, "Give me Murray, give me Jeremy Grant." That he was even doing stuff on the defensive end. Anthony Davis with the block on Michael Porter Jr.
Huge,
man, huge, because you could feel them gaining momentum. And AD was basically like, "Meet me at the rim. We have a date." And shut that man down. I don't even know why Michael Porter Jr. even showed his card that early in the paint. But the moment that block happened, you could feel the momentum going in the opposite direction for the Nuggets, man. And really, to be honest, shout out to the Nuggets, man, for putting up in a tremendous fight, really getting us battle-tested for whoever we're going to face in the finals. But at the end of the day, the Lakers were always the better team, and we showed it tonight. I want to throw some people at you real quick. Love it that they did not touch the trophy. Now, I didn't see this part. Chance can see it in where he's at, but apparently they didn't touch the trophy. I don't know.
They didn't touch the trophy until AD picked it up at the end, took it off. They left it there while everybody spoke. Vogel spoke, Pelinka spoke, AD spoke, Bron spoke. All of them saying pretty much the same thing. The job's not done. Credit to our players. Credit to the guys that actually sweated, bled, and shed tears, obviously, throughout the season, as the whole organization has. And man, I'm just so impressed. I knew that we were going to get another 60 points from LeBron and AD, but I didn't think it was going to come like this. I mean, we got classic vintage Bron in the fourth quarter of a closeout game to go to his 10th NBA Finals. That's a record only behind Bill Russell, who has 12, and Sam Jones, who has 11. Nobody in the modern era has gone to as many finals as LeBron James has.
And you know what's crazy? Whether we win the finals or not, he still has more of the tank to get to another one. That's what's crazy. Crazy. This man can do it. Anakat Mohan, tears of happiness after 10 years of Kendall Marshall, Wesley Johnson, Robert Sacre, Ryan Kelly.
Chris Kaman, who laid down on the bench at one game and went to sleep. We've all waited a while. Job's not done. On to the bigger prize. R.I.P. Kobe. D100, back where they belong, baby. Feels good to be home. D.L. Johnson, now that's how you close out a series. NBA Finals, baby. Woo-hoo. Now, I want to ask you this question. Obviously, the Lakers had control of the game for majority of that game, but there were a couple of moments where it felt like the Nuggets were getting ready to do something. At any point, did you feel yourself getting nervous, or did you just know that the Lakers were going to close it out? I knew that they were going to close it out. Once we went up by double digits in the first half, and once we got into the flow of the game, I knew that we were going to trade baskets at some point and be able to, do what we, needed to do to end up closing out the game. So I was just happy with the fact that we were able to stay consistent, we were able to stay focused, and we were able to get the job done and keep them at bay whenever they got. I don't think they ever took the lead. I do think they maybe tied it 84 all.
84 somewhere, yeah.
Right, yeah, somewhere at that point in the fourth quarter, but overall they were able to keep it close and able to keep it together. And yeah, man, I can't be more happy and I can't be more proud of these guys for fighting through everything that they fought through. They fought through a lot. Yeah. Everybody has, but specifically this team. I'm not crying yet. We got 4 more. Now we can look towards these other 4. We were 1 win away. We got that 1 win. We are 4 more away, Laker Nation. Then crazy. I'm crying.
That's crazy to even think about, man. And shout out to Dwight Howard tonight, man, doing just the dirty work that we needed. He picked up 5 fouls, and he earned every one of those and probably some more. But he did damage against Jokic. And, of course, late Jokic started getting going, but it didn't really matter as much at that point. But in the beginning of this game, man, Dwight Howard set the tone. And then, of course, Alex Caruso, especially in that first half.
God.
Yeah, man. He was playing out of his mind, and you can tell that he's growing through this process and he's learning. And we can probably talk about some other things. Obviously Kuz had some issues tonight, but was able to produce a little bit, had 8 points on 3 of 7 shooting. JaVale McGee just really didn't fit at all in this series. The minutes that he did get were just they really
terrible.
were minutes. They were terrible minutes because he does not match up well in this series. And we'll talk later about what it's going to look like for the next series. We're not sure who we're going to face. Could be the Heat, could be the Celtics, but hopefully it'll be decided sooner than later, and we'll be able to get to the finals and see what we can do. But let's look at this. Here's one of the comments that I love. Prophet Chaz, spot on again. 3 good quarters got us the win. What was it about this series that made you so confident about Game 5?
Denver doesn't play defense like that. They do to a certain extent, but they don't play consistent defense down the stretch. Like, you can come back from 3-1, but there's a reason why you were down 3-1 in 3 consecutive series, which was a record, right? Like, there's a reason why you give up 3 out of the first 4 games of the 3 series that you played, because you don't play consistent enough defense, and frankly, you just, you're making too many mistakes and you run out of gas.
Yeah,
and they had enough guys for round 1. They had enough guys for round 2, and the Clippers, thankfully, but they didn't have enough gas for this one. This is a diesel truck. We rocking with that diesel. We got that super fluid, and they were just rocking that 87. They didn't have enough. They ran out. So, credit to Denver for having the heart. I mean, even though they're not champions yet, they played like champions, hearts of champions at least. Maybe not execution-wise, but in here, they definitely played like that. And credit to those guys for Western Conference Finals are never supposed to be easy. And they made it as tough. Every win was tough. Maybe except for that first game, but all 3 other ones were tough, gutty. especially this last one, and obviously Game 4 as well. So just makes me more proud for of these guys for fighting through what they fought through. I can't say it enough. I'm shaking right now. I can't believe we're in the NBA Finals. I got to get that hat that the players are wearing. As soon as I see that go up on NBA.com, I'm copping that. Anything else that I see, any finals merchandise, because we don't know when the last time we're gonna get here. Like Brian said, like you don't know. Like, credit to him for being able to make it to 10, but as Dwight hasn't seen the finals in 11 years.
And they thought for sure he was going to be going back to back.
Absolutely.
And what a turnaround story, right? 10 years later, being able to go back to the NBA Finals in the uniform of the team that knocked him out and essentially, stole his one opportunity for a championship, being able to have a full circle revival of a career, bouncing around from team to team to team, moving from a place of a non-guaranteed contract to becoming a starter in the Western Conference Finals. Just think about that. No team wanted him. There had to be a special team meeting for him to even join the Lakers, and then he didn't get his contract guaranteed until months after he had started playing. And now look at him now getting ready to go into the NBA Finals. And if we're being honest, does have the potential of actually being a starter in the Finals.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Cole, if you're watching this, my cousin, I told him when we signed Dwight that not only will Dwight be impactful because he poo-pooed the move. He didn't like it. Obviously, he was in his feelings about Dwight. I was too at first. And then I thought about it, right? I took in the time between me finding out, I had just got off work and I was driving home. And in that time, I sat and I just listened to 710. I listened to Ireland. I listened to what happened, how everything transpired. And I just thought about it. And I said, man, if Dwight is really about what he said, right, show us. And he said all the right things. And when it came time to go out on the floor, he showed it. He's been consistent. He's been all in. He's been trustworthy. He's earned every minute that he's gotten on the floor and every starter's minute that he's gotten in this series. He deserves to start for the duration of the NBA Finals. Assuming there's no bad matchup and he plays decently well. I'm sorry, JaVale, but Dwight deserves to start with the energy and the effort that he's brought and what he's been able to do for our team and getting us to where we are.
Real talk, man. DL Johnson on Periscope says, I'm taking shots of 1800 for my Lakers. So I got to know what you drinking tonight, man.
I've been on Don Julio since 2:30, dog. So it's 9:00 now. You guys are getting me at my rawest, purest form. I love you guys. They didn't have any 42 at Bevmo. I don't know why they ran out of 42. So I've been on the Don Julio. Drink up, pour up for me, Laker Nation. As soon as I get off this live, I'm pouring up for y'all. And man, and we're getting rest.
Yes.
Mind you, we're going to get some rest.
Man,
AD's going to have time to elevate and ice that ankle. Obviously, you saw that he tweaked it maybe once or twice throughout the duration of the game, had to sit down a couple times. AD's going to get at the very least, 3 days rest, maybe 4, maybe 5, depending upon, what Boston decides to do tomorrow against Miami.
And listen, I want to point this out too, because right after that Millsap fall on AD ankle debacle, that had AD sitting on the sideline for a quick second to try to get his ankle together. Immediately after that, AD comes down and hits a big 3. Now,
huge.
I bring that
great
up.
Extra pass by Caruso.
Yes,
great find by LeBron
in the paint
well.
and was like, "No, I know that this is AD." So I want to point this out because the announcers were consistently talking about Jamal Murray's knee, which obviously was hobbling him. I want to just make it very clear that.
So I couldn't hear the game. I mean, obviously, as you guys know, it's a huge party. So I haven't heard the game, but I was able to watch everything. Inform me about Jamal Murray's knee, please.
So apparently he had a right knee contusion. Don't know when it happened. Apparently it happened before the game because they talked about it very early in the first quarter. So maybe the last game, and it was messing him up. And so they were.
I think it was one of those drives against LeBron.
I bet you it had to have been.
I think it was one of those, to be honest.
So he was progressively getting worse throughout the game, and there was even a point in the game where you could see him wanting to take off and he couldn't, and he had to just hold up And the announcers were pretty much pointing that out, which it was obvious Jamal Murray was not himself tonight. But I also want to make it very clear for those people who are going to say the Nuggets would have came back if Jamal Murray would have been healthy. I just want to point out that Anthony Davis was on a bum ankle, not only this game but half of the last game, and still was able to do alley-oops.
Caruso banged up, Danny Green banged up. You guys saw the injury report. We report the same Lakers injury report on Showtime form as you get directly from Trudell and the Lakers directly. So everybody that is on, that follows us, you guys saw the injury report. You guys know who is injured. I don't want to hear any excuses.
No.
Sometimes you get some things that bounce your way, and that's just the name of the game. I'm sorry, Jamal.
Yeah, and once again, we've said it. Jamal Murray and Jokic are going to be stars in this league for some years, man. The Western Conference next year is going to be absolutely stacked with the return of Clay and Steph. Portland Trailblazers have shown themselves. The Phoenix Suns have shown themselves. I don't really know what the Clippers are going to do, but it doesn't matter. But the Western Conference is going to be stacked. So it just the fact that we made it to the finals this year, it's just an incredible accomplishment. And if we make it next year, there really is no excuse. James Michael, never take the king for granted. Most made a mistake on Kobe. Y'all have this second chance. Absolutely. Tamarino 13, our own Justin Stover on Twitch. Let's go. Nothing to say here. I'm just gonna celebrate and bask in this glory. We are where we knew we would be, and that's the key, man.
Guys saw. I was in the Slack with you guys. I told you when we win. It's not a matter of if. I said when we win, you guys are gonna want to tune into the post game show. Justin, I appreciate you tuning in, my bruh. Everybody else, I appreciate you guys. Man, it's all love. It's all love, man.
It's all love, man. It's all love. Here we go. This is a good question here. I don't care who they face in the finals. It won't matter. Number 17 is coming, D.L. Johnson. Now, we talked last post game that Miami essentially would be probably the harder matchup. But after watching them lose to the Celtics the way they did this last game, are you feeling any different? Are you feeling like it's still going to be the same difficulty between the two teams, or what are you thinking?
6 games, both of them.
6 games, both. Doesn't matter.
Have I not been right this entire postseason?
Trust the prophet. That's all I'm going to say.
6 games. Both 6 games. Both of them. It'll probably be Miami more than anything. And mind you, LeBron wants to get that one up on Pat Riley. He didn't forget about what Pat Riley said. They may be cool. He may be over it. He might not be. But regardless, he wants that one up against Riley.
He coming.
And if it's the Celtics, he wants to go in Lakers lore. Someplace that Jerry West isn't even. Someplace that Elgin Baylor isn't. Someplace that Wilt Chamberlain isn't. Gail Goodrich isn't.
True. Talk about it.
They have never beaten the Celtics in the finals. The Lakers beat the Knicks in the finals, not the Celtics. So for LeBron as a Laker to go against the Celtics,
that's legacy building.
It is what it is in a major way.
And on Jeannie's birthday. Happy birthday, Jeannie. Yes, happy birthday, Jeannie.
Hey.
Happy birthday to her. Happy birthday to our own Jonathan Watson today. This is my boy's birthday.
Happy birthday, bro.
Yep. And you already know our own David Portillo, man. He's celebrating today. His birthday was a couple days ago, but he's celebrating. It's just celebrations all around, man. What a perfect way to go into Sunday tomorrow, just knowing that we are going to the NBA Finals. I almost said Western Conference again.
NBA Finals. The Lakers are 12-3.
And 3. That's it, man. Hamad says, let's point out our mistakes first. I just want to say that we cannot blow big leads easily. And Hamad, I hear you. I'm going to be honest. I don't really know any teams that don't have to withstand a run when they're up by double digits. It just happens.
It's when you get down to the final 4 teams, you're pretty much almost evenly matched. I mean, one team is clearly the Lakers are the best of the 4 teams at this point, right? Talent-wise, experience-wise, all of those things. But you still have talented top teams. There's a reason why those other 3 teams are in this round as well, or were in this round now, I should say. And there's only going to be a reason why that Eastern Conference team, whether it be Miami or Boston, are going to get to the finals. There's a reason why the Nuggets were able to come back from 3-1 multiple times. It's a tough team. So they're going to make runs. And you're going to have defensive lapses sometimes, but the important part is to never let go of the rope. You have to hold on, hold the fort, and that's what the guys did. And credit to, Kuzma didn't have the greatest game, but he hit a big shot to enter the fourth quarter. AD had a great game. He had a huge three at the top of the circle to keep that momentum going our way. Caruso anchoring us, Dwight anchoring us, KCP hitting huge threes. Even Danny Green hit crucial clutch threes,
top of the key,
when he really needed to. So everybody did their part. I just can't say, and it's a true team effort.
Yep.
Obviously, you're led by your leaders, but everybody pitched in on this one. Everybody from top down.
Yeah, and it was amazing, man. And I pointed this out a little bit on Twitter. I didn't get a chance to dive into it, but you mentioned that Kuz three, where he had just prior had shot a three from the corner and missed horribly. But the difference, because I saw a lot of Kuzma hate in the Twitter, and I know we will eat that dude alive a lot. But here's the thing that you got to remember: Kuzma works best in the flow of an offense. The reason why he fit better than Lonzo and Ingram is because in a flow where you have somebody controlling the ball, he's a great spot-up shooter. Heading into the bubble and majority of the playoffs, he was our best three-point shooter until we got into the Rockets series. So primarily, when you give him the flow, he's great. So the prior to that big three, he missed it. The next time, Caruso comes in, drives in, makes the correct offensive pass, and then Kuzma hits it in stride. So you got to know that Kuzma works best when the offense is flowing. It's not good when he's not flowing, because when he's not flowing, He's accident prone. He's going to force things like he did tonight against Michael Porter Jr. So you got to keep him within the rhythm of the game, and tonight it showed. Donovan Bryan, let's see what Skip has to say about Bron. Skip then already tweeted, congratulations.
Skip already said congrats on your fourth ring. He already said that. He said that before this series even started, actually.
He did.
And he's still trying to poo-poo the Denver Nuggets like they're not good competition, but they beat his team and the Clippers that he picked, right? Maybe not his own personal team, because I know he's a Spurs fan, but, I mean, he picked the Clippers to win it all and beat the Lakers, and is still tweeting about the fact that the Clippers would beat the Lakers, but at the same time, they're sitting at home wondering if Paul George is going to come back, or if he's on the trading block, or whatever the case may be. So they got bigger things to worry about than to worry about the Lakers. They got to get their own team straight first before they can worry about us. So Clipper fans, I know this one hurts. I know it sucks, but y'all going to have to eat the crow on this one.
For real, sure. Real talk. And just so we're clear, NFL, you could have a lesser team beat a better team on any given Sunday. We've seen that, right? We saw that with the Giants. We saw that we've seen it. In a series where you're up 3-1, like we were tonight, when you're up 3-1, losing 3 consecutive games with double-digit leads is not a matter of luck. That's a matter of the better team won. And Charles Barkley said something that I agreed with that I'm sure was going to get him crucified. He called the Clippers mediocre. This is not shameful. This is just the difference between expectations on paper and the actual value of the sum of the parts. And the sum of the parts was mediocre.
One team closed them out in 5. The other team wasn't able to close them out in 7. That's us. That's the Lake Show.
Yeah.
Don't you ever you know who I'm talking to.
Yes.
You, not you, Devon, not you, Laker Nation. I see some of you Clipper fans that be following us or that are in our comments to see what we talking about, or want to go back and forth with us, all in my mentions, asking me, what about this or what about that?
Yep.
No. Yep. Don't you ever question LeBron. Don't you ever question the Lakers. Don't you ever question Jeannie Buss. Don't you ever question Rob Pelinka. We are solidified. We're going to get that hardware to prove it now. And we're going to sign AD for 3, 4, 5, depending on what he decides to choose based on the cap, because it's an uncertain time right now with coronavirus. We're going to figure it out, though. But he's going to sign for whatever it is he decides to sign for. And Bron's going to get that 4th ring, going for maybe even a 5th next year. So I'm not going to look too far ahead. I'm just going to worry about these next 4 wins and bask in the ambiance. But
that's all.
I hate to go, Devon.
I got you, Cap.
They calling me. I had to come on here and say a few words. Y'all get at me. I'm gonna check my mentions. Don Julio shots for everybody.
Hey.
If you drinking, have a shot for me. Lakers going to the finals, y'all. All love. I'll see y'all on the next post game, game 1 of NBA Finals, Boston or Miami.
Yes,
love
sir.
Y'all.
Enjoy your night, man.
Peace.
Woo. Man, it was good to have Chaz on, and he said it, man. Like this is an exciting time for us, man. This is an exciting time for us. I want y'all to bask in it. Let's get to these comments, man. James Michael, Danny Green getting formal apologies again. He made plays on D. James, they put a stat up tonight that I did not see. His podcast partner Harrison put up a great stat that I did not know. With that block that he had tonight, he moved to number 7 amongst guards in all-time blocks, right? So that's pretty huge when you're top 10 in blocks as a guard, all time. We're not talking about for the season. We're talking about all time. Of all guards that have played in the NBA, Danny Green is in the top 10 with blocks. That's huge, man. And so tonight it paid off, and he had a huge block, then ended up running over to the other side and running off a 3, and I forget who was shooting the 3, but he ran off the 3, and we ended up getting the rebound and going the other way. He was valuable tonight, even though he wasn't scoring as much as we thought he would. Everybody keeps bringing up the $15 million. We'll talk about that later. It doesn't matter about how much we're paying him. Does he do what we need him to do in the moments that it matters? And he did tonight. Kevin K. White, LeBron is easily the GOAT. I just don't know how there's any conversation about who the best player in the NBA is right now. And he showed it today, man. Chase Aguiar, man. What's good? Chase, our boy, man. Lakers, baby. Let's go. Blake Sinclair, 16-4 overall. It's happening. It's happening. LeBron wins this title. This is Chase again on Periscope. Wins this title, and he's the GOAT. No questions asked. I mean, even what he did tonight, carrying the team the way he did in that second half, doing what he did in the first half, pounding the paint, and then you saw in the first half where he decided, in the first quarter, that he's just going to stop looking for fouls, because there was plenty of fouls, and we saw it, where his whole hairline got knocked off, and there was no calls. Now, obviously, he got to the line later on, so we're not going to act like he got no foul calls, but the minute he decided he wasn't going to ask for foul calls anymore, and he was just going to drive, it was the difference maker. And I don't think if there's any other player that can do that. As much as I love how Giannis does it, Giannis has to get a full head of steam. LeBron can do it with 4 seconds left and dribbling on the shot clock and get to the paint and draw a foul. And he was great. Listen, even tonight, even with his free throw shooting, what I love is that he only shot 8 free throw shots, but he hit 7 of 8, which was great. That was great. But what I love even more was that he shot 25 times, and majority of those shots came inside the paint, which means he was getting down in there, and he was getting roughed up, and it didn't matter. It just didn't matter. He was doing defensive assignments tonight. He was on his offensive game, obviously with another triple-double. He has like 100-something triple-doubles now. He's only behind, I think, I forgot who they said. He's behind one person in triple-doubles. Magic Johnson. I think Magic Johnson's the only one he's behind in triple-doubles, but insane tonight. Blake Sinclair on YouTube. Dwight is the key to the series. Yeah, Dwight was the key to the series. Yes, he was the key to this series, and we don't know what it looks like going forward. Obviously, you know, we know who the 2 centers are essentially when it comes to the Heat, and it comes to the Celtics. Theis is a man's man in the paint, and then of course you have Bam, who really doesn't traditionally play the 5, but he runs around that paint and does so much disruption offensively and defensively. I just don't know if JaVale's going to have the athleticism to keep up with Bam, or he's going to have the size and the strength to keep up with Theis. So I think on either side, Dwight kind of fits that middle hybrid mold of being able to at least put a body on somebody. So we'll see how it goes. But as of right now, Dwight has shown himself as another valuable key pickup that we received going into the bubble. I don't want to slander anyone tonight. There you go. I got you on a cat. We're not going to slander, but we are going to make sure we keep receipts. D100, when they raised that trophy, I'm with you, Chaz. I'm crying. I was 24 last time they won. Yeah, it's been a long time, man. It's been a long time. But listen, 4 more wins is what we need, and we're going to celebrate tonight. But tomorrow we start getting into the stats, start getting into the film room, figuring out both teams, honestly. In case you don't know, the way that they normally do it is that I believe the rule is you're allowed to have 1 scout at a game for your opponents. And from my understanding, you're allowed to have 1. And I think the Lakers assign a lower level assistant coach or an assistant to scout the games or do film on both teams. Vogel talked about this when we were trying to figure out if it was going to be the Rockets or I believe the Thunder. who was going to come. I can't remember who the two teams were, but Vogel assigned people there to start studying both teams until they figured out who it was, and then they put all their eggs in one basket with that one team in the Houston Rockets. Same thing is going to happen here, I believe, is that you're going to have people scouting out the Miami Heat, scouting out the Boston Celtics, and then bringing film back, and they're going to have to study for both teams. And then, of course, when the finals get ready to happen, they'll know for sure who they're getting ready to go up against. But I can't wait to see how they come up with that. Leonard Buchanan, who do we match up better with? To be honest, Miami is playing with the same amount of grit that the Nuggets do, but they don't really have a two-man game like Jokic and Jamal Murray. But they do have a Jimmy Butler. They do have an incredible coach in Eric Spoelstra who's different than Mike Malone. Mike Malone does not have that level of experience that Eric Spoelstra does. And then, as crazy as this sounds, Pat Riley does make a difference from the position in the front office. He has his hands in everything, from talking to players. If you guys remember when Miami won the first round, Jimmy Butler's walking off the court and he's looking up at Pat Riley, and him and Pat Riley are having a moment. Pat Riley knows how to feed into. He has like a Phil Jackson effect on the players, and so that's Miami. Celtics are just hard-nosed, well-coached. They're fundamentally sound. Jaylen Brown, Tatum are a problem. Kemba Walker could be a problem for us because as much as we have length, he has speed. So it's really just you pick your poison. But at this point, I don't really care who it is. I'm just glad we get a chance to see at least 4 more games of Laker basketball. And at the end of these next 4 wins, we can hoist the trophy and get down to Figueroa Street somehow, some way. Prophet Chaz, yeah, man. Prophet Chaz is undefeated, never lost. There we go. And didn't somebody say that their son will make it to the finals before us? Last saw the Lakers win a title in high school. We need this. Blake St. Clair and YouTube, Denver were pretenders, just making up the numbers. I must have watched other games. The only game in doubt was the loss, and Lakers nearly won that with only one good quarter. It's been a steamroll. Yeah. And so I think a lot of the commentary and the narrative that even Frank Vogel was talking about was they've been down 3-1. And I think that's been the bigger thing. And of course, the Lakers are different than the previous 2 opponents they had in the previous 2 rounds. But at the end of the day, when you know that they have a track record of coming back from 3-1, you can't ignore it. Even if you steamroll to those 3 wins, you can't ignore it. But let's be honest. We won game 1 handily, but game 2, we let the lead get all the way down that it took Anthony Davis hitting the game winner. Because had he missed that shot, we would have lost that game. So that game wasn't a steamroll. And then even this last game that we ended up winning, the game we ended up losing before that was that Denver had kind of found our number, and once we kind of figured out the defensive rotation of throwing the zone in at certain times, starting Dwight Howard, and made the adjustment, then it became a little bit more comfortable. But Denver is a great team. Denver is an absolute great team. There's no way you can deny who Jokic and Murray are. Those two are great. They didn't even have Will Barton in the bubble with them like that. So Jeremy Grant was a great player. This is the second time he had 20-plus points in the series. They had contributors. And so we don't want to just foo-foo it, but we do want to make sure that we acknowledge that the Lakers are the better team, but the Nuggets actually were a great Western Conference matchup. James Michael, never doubt the king again. They said he ain't making jumpers. Well, and he made them jumpers tonight. Sean M. I'm not going to butcher your last name, brother, on Periscope. Now the question is, who do we want to see in the finals? And I think we just talked about that, Sean. Shout out to Chaz's non-profit cousin, Jonathan Watson. Best birthday gift ever. J. Watt, I'm so glad that it happened on you and Jeannie's birthday, man. David Mendoza asking the same question. Who do the Lakers want, Miami or Boston? Chase said he got the jack flowing. Y'all be safe out there, man. If you partying, you drinking, be in somebody's house. Do not drive tonight. I got my water and my Simply Lemonade. I'm going to drink with my dinner a little bit later. No bad matchups. No team can match the front court of the Lakers playing to their strength. Blake, you are correct. First ever post-game group shots? Absolutely not. That's one way to get banned from YouTube. Jason Jeter, Chaz, I got some Woodford Reserve. All y'all putting your drinks in the chat. I love it. I'm so happy to get rid of Miller and C. Webb. It's hard to listen to a game when they are constantly rooting against the Lakers. It's very strange in today's media of how many people have a microphone or how many people have an opportunity to talk who don't have number one, championship pedigree, or number two, have a resume that gives them the ability to speak about the players that they're commentating on. Now, once again, I'm not saying that to belittle anybody. It's just amazing to watch, Webb and Reggie Miller, and both Hall of Famers in their own right, amazing athletes, great contributors to the NBA. Same with Barkley. I love Charles Barkley when he talks, and he's so old. He's been around for so long. You can let him say whatever he feels like saying. But it's just amazing to kind of watch that. But when I hear Shaq speak, it makes a difference. When I hear Kenny speak, it makes a difference to me. Listen, when Kobe was doing detail, when he was doing detail on ESPN, it made a difference to me because you're watching a multi-champion, be able to dissect the game. But that's neither here nor there. Showtime, Chaz lucked out, couldn't hear the announcing. Everyone is hurt in the playoffs. Absolutely. D Million, LeBron is the MVP of the league. If you ask me, if this man gets NBA Finals MVP, I think it kind of shuts up the entire MVP talk. Because I think this year the narrative was exposed. And he brought it up. When you have people who get voted Rookie of the Year but make second team all rookie, or the year that he won, or the year that Marc Gasol, he talked about that, won Defensive Player of the Year, but then ended up making second team all defense. So you throw that away. One thing you can't argue with is the NBA Finals MVP. And if he wins that, then I think it trumps all the other conversations. Jason Jeter announcing was brutal. C. Webb and Reggie were Laker bias. Have a bias against the Lakers, obviously. Thank goodness finals are on ABC. Absolutely. Murray, another superstar that doesn't play defense. Blake Sinclair. Yeah, and that is today's definition of a superstar, is one that doesn't play defense. And that is a narrative that we're going to have to kind of accept, because if that's the case, then you really don't have superstars for that matter. You kind of have Steph and Clay. Steph doesn't play defense. Clay does play defense, but Steph obviously is much more the heartbeat of the offense. So at the end of the day, Jamal Murray and Jokic are the real deal. We have to give them props where it's at. Otherwise, throw this entire series away, and we have nothing to write on, because that means that they weren't good and we weren't tested. Those gray finals hats are on Fanatics.com. DL Johnson. Just put Fanatics.com is where you can find the finals hats. Go there, because they're going to sell out if they haven't already. 24K Petty, my cousin. At the start of every decade, we get the chip. This is by design. Listen, man, in the year of 2020, we need this chip. Something to make us feel better, because after the way it started with Kobe dying, I just don't know of any other way we could end this year outside of winning one for him. Happy birthday to Jeannie Buss. What a great way to start the night. Lakers in 5, D100 says. Now, you guys already heard Chad said Lakers in 6 in the finals, but I'm going to reserve my judgment until I watch the Celtics play tomorrow and see what's going to happen. Murray ain't dancing tonight. Let's go. If you have a chance, David Portillo, man, put together a video of all of the teams that danced throughout the playoffs. Every round that we got through, somebody danced on us or they cussed somebody out. Of course, you had Lillard dance. The minute he started dancing and they won that game, we won the next. We eliminated him. Then you had Russ, who was cussing everybody out after they won that game. Then we came out, we beat him, right? Then you had Murray, the game that they won, dancing, and then we ended him. So I hope the other teams are watching. The last thing you want to do is disrespect the king. Blake Sinclair, Kobe he beat the Celtics. Yes, but you're talking about, that's the end of an era, right? That's the end of an era. When the Warriors came in, Blake, that's when everything opened up. In fact, Silver Screen and Roll did an entire thing about, I believe, about how the Warriors offense changed the NBA forever, because it went away from mid-range shots. It went away from the big man era with Shaq and our pal Gasol and Kobe. It went away from that, and it went to the spread offense. And that's why you started seeing the Warriors win the way they did, by being able to play small ball and keep the shooters on the outside. So the idea of a superstar was far more based on shooting than it was about defense and the fundamentals of the game and things like that. You're starting to see it slowly creep back towards that. But at the end of the day, we're at right now, man. So the Kobe was probably the last great fundamental. Kobe, Tim Duncan, those guys, Tony Parker, those were the stars of our generation. But you're not going to find anybody comparable to them. You can't name one person comparable to them in today's NBA. Wish Kobe were here for this. Miss you, Bean. We all miss him, man. If you guys are doing shots tonight, throw one up for your boy. Jason Jeter, Danny lost confidence on his shot, but he was really active on defense and hitting those big shots. I was confused by how much usage he had in the first 2 quarters. We watched Danny Green pump fake off the 3 line, going into the middle, shooting mid-range shots, and just random stuff that we just didn't look to. I don't even need this. That we didn't look to Danny Green to do. He just started doing strange things, but he settled in, and he was able to hit some big shots for us. Championship mentality, you said. That's good. James Michael, shout out to Dudley for his first finals appearance. Yes, Dudley, Coach Vogel, Anthony Davis, I believe KCP, obviously Caruso. But what's also awesome is you have people like Rondo, Howard, who's been to the finals, JaVale McGee, Quinn Cook. And even when these players are not playing like Quinn and JaVale, but they're able to speak to a Caruso and give them some pointers about, hey, man, this is what it's like playing guard. You know what I mean? This is what it's like. They're talking to a Markieff Morris and say, hey, man, these are the things to look out for in the finals. It's different. This is a different series because they play different. There's a whole lot more eyes on it and things like that. So, already got my non-Laker fans hating, saying that if they win, it's an asterisk. We can let them go. Forever and ever. Let me see here. NBA stat guy, Steph, Plumlee, and Jokic. Absolutely, that was a thing tonight. Jokic and Plumlee had a rough night tonight. Although Jokic did get it going towards the end, I believe he finished the night with 20 points, same as Jeremy Grant, and Jamal Murray finishing with 19. We made it hard for him. Jay Edward, I loved how we won the rebound battle tonight. Now that's not something that people have been speaking about, but last game we had 24 second chance points. A lot of that came from rebounding. Tonight we did great on the boards tonight. And really offensively as well. It was 38 rebounds to 27, which is huge. I know it doesn't seem like a huge number because it's only 11, but in the rebound battle, that is tremendously huge. That's a lot of extra points. That's a lot of extra possessions. That's a lot of stopped possessions, right? Stop second chance points. So they were able to do their thing tonight. Shout out to Vogel having a short leash on JaVale and Morris in the second half. Yeah, and shout out to just giving JaVale a shot. And just seeing how he was going to work out. JaVale being, obviously a great sport, giving up his starting role to his brother, Dwight. He got in tonight. It just wasn't there for him, and he got yanked out. And I think JaVale understood that. I think he just knew it wasn't the right series for him, just like Howard, it wasn't the right series for him in the Rocket series. So it's good to see that the veteran mindset isn't being plagued by this need to be seen or this need to have minutes that we've seen before. Kevin Angelis, they have Dragic, who is a really good facilitator. Absolutely. Dragic is a tremendous facilitator. And once again, the Celtics have Kemba Walker, and these are two different things. Kemba's not a facilitator, but man, can that dude, he can drive, and he's shorter than Jamal Murray, which means he can get through these picks way easier, kind of like Damian Lillard did, was being able to kind of get through those picks, those pick and pops. And so we'll see, man. I believe Miami's going to win this series, but after watching what Boston did in this last one, it's very possible this series can go 7. Are you worried about possibly playing the Heat? Do you like them? Do you see them like a Detroit in 2004? No, I don't see them the same as Detroit, and mainly because of this. The Heat are driven mainly because of Jimmy Butler and his grit and his tenacity and a bunch of young players, right? But like Rasheed and like Billups and like Rip, like those guys, they weren't brand new to the scene, but like a Tyler Hero, a Duncan Robinson, like veteran leadership, a Rondo, a Howard. Notice how Howard got Jokic in foul trouble tonight. He just knew how to press the right buttons because you're talking to a vet. He knows exactly what to do and how to make the right movements to get fouls called and all of that. So expect the veteran savvy leadership and working smarter, not harder, to pay off on either one, the Miami Heat or the Celtics, because both of them are fairly young, and we have the most finals experience on a team out of the 3 that are left. STM 12 down, 4 to go. Absolutely. Lakers excellence is a birthright. Finish the job. Rondo is a legend. We can't deny it anymore. Rondo's a Hall of Famer, and I'd much rather have him on our team than against us. His IQ when he's on the floor with LeBron is just unprecedented. It's unparalleled. The way they think, the way they work together, even though tonight and really the whole season, the true story of the 1-2 combination is not LeBron and Rondo. It's not LeBron and AD. It's LeBron and Caruso. The chemistry they have when they're running the floor together is just insane. Not just on fast breaks, but on half-court sets. They just know. Caruso knows when to cut. He knows how to do the proper pick. He knows how to catch Bron on the lobs, unlike Danny, who seems to throw lobs into the ceiling. It's destiny, beginning of a dynasty. STM, I'm going to stop you there. I don't think this team is going to be the same team next year. I think you're going to see a lot of changeover next year in some way, shape, or form. I think it's going to look different, but we'll see. Leonard Buchanan, 2 years, we were in shambles. Look at us now. Not just 2 years. We were in shambles for a minute. We felt a little bit better last year because we had LeBron here. But the truth is that we've had a long purgatory, and we had to withstand a lot of ridicule and a lot of laughing and a lot of I can't even get to it. Jalesserin, I hope I'm saying this right. Shahibi, I don't know what that is. Blake St. Clair says again, doesn't matter who is next. Celtics would be preferred to give them a front row seat to 17. It would feel far better to our Lakers soul to watch LeBron bring a 17th championship against the Celtics. That would just be. Who would you like to see us improve on? Oh, what would you like to see us improve on in terms of our play in the finals to hoist the Larry O'Brien Trophy? I think there's plenty of gaps. I think perimeter defense is still an issue, even though we make adjustments. I think there is. I think rotations are the difference with this team, and being able to identify rotations early, as opposed to having to lose a game to make adjustments. I think that's going to be a big thing. And then really keeping the energy. When the Lakers are running with energy, when the Lakers are playing with defense first minded hands and being active in the passing lanes and doing those things, I just don't see another team that can beat them, right? But let's not forget the Celtics did beat us, and they beat us pretty bad, okay? And part of the reason they were able to do that is because they run a very fundamental system that has a counteract to our attack, if you will. So a lot of that Brad Stevens IQ and his coaching is really built on fundamentals and understanding the floor and spacing and things like that. And Tatum has only gotten better since the last time we met the Celtics. The difference is this, that the bubble is the equalizer. And that's a difference, right? Playing in Boston in that arena is a different level of adrenaline, a different level of energy, a different level of feel. But people like LeBron and Rondo, they don't need any of that. Like when you put them in a quiet space and tell them to run the floor, it's like playing chess against checkers. So for me, I think it's going to be much more about the energy than anything else. Rotations, energy, and then of course just the small things, man. Just, you know, not doing silly fouls and knowing when and when not to have Kuzma or JaVale in. Not picking up silly fouls that like sometimes Markieff Morris does. But that's stuff you can work on. Obviously, it's not going to be stuff you're going to fix in a matter of a 2 or 3 day span. So we'll see. Let me see here. Giannis' brother might get a chip before him. Leonard is looking very much like that. Nabil Murday, Danny Green clutch block in 3. Man, he needed that. He needed that. We needed that. And I'm so glad that it happened because I don't know if we were going to be able to withstand another night of Danny Green ridicule. Lakers in 5 the entire way, 16-4. I've been right every series too. Go back and check the receipts. Lakers in 5. D100, I love your confidence. We're going to find out. James Michael, it's been 8 months since we lost Kobe. So we all deserve this. Absolutely. And Nabil Murday, that's a great point. I was talking about Kobe is on the list of Lakers who beat the Celtics. Add LeBron and AD to that list. Blake, I cannot wait to do that. That would be so great for AD in his first year to get a chip and be able to be added to the Laker lore of beating the Celtics and hanging a 17th banner. Chaz and you were talking about Laker legends who didn't beat the Celtics in the finals. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sorry for that misinterpretation. Our Antetokounmpo got to the finals first, and our Morris brother. Dwight, the last 2 games, just focused on playing hard, and it made all the difference. And notice how different he played when he calmed down the antics, and he wasn't doing so much yelling, but still playing with energy and still being able to affect on the defensive end. And listen, he did some offensive things tonight. He called for the ball in the post and did a quick little turnaround and made that over Jokic. He was doing some things tonight that were very reminiscent of what Dwight Howard could have been in the other spots that he landed in these last several years. And watching him being able to get his mind right, get his heart right, get around a great team environment and chemistry, get great coaches with Phil Handy, Lionel Hollins, Jason Kidd, Frank Vogel, and be able to have a great medical staff that keeps him healthy. It makes a difference. And I'm so glad that he's on this team, and I hope he has another year in him to give us some more. Sharing this experience with my kids is so special. Their first time watching the Lakers contend. And you know what's so funny? It's so weird. When I grew up, obviously the Showtime Lakers were kind of coming out, and then when I got into high school, like '96 into high school and into college, it was obviously the Kobe. It was the Kobe Shaq era. Then I was able to see the Kobe and Powell era. But my son didn't really know anything about the Lakers as much until he saw me crying when Kobe died, and I had to sit down and explain to him who Kobe was to me. And then what I did was I started showing him games. I started showing him actual games, but I didn't show him Kobe games. I showed him the games that we were playing. Like I showed him, the LeBron speech, and I showed him LeBron. And so all my son knows is LeBron. He knows LeBron's face, but all he knows is Kobe's name. So he calls every Laker player he sees Kobe. And it makes me so proud, man. I love watching this generation being able to watch the Lakers be who they are. So make your kids watch the finals. Make them all sit down and watch the finals, all 2.5 hours of it each night. Did he say we never beat Boston earlier? No. When LeBron covered Murray on the first possession, I was like, okay, he's not effing around tonight. No, something was in his eyes that was different tonight. And I'm telling you, that LeBron that showed up in that third and fourth quarter was absolutely crazy. We have the better Greek freak. It's official. Man, I appreciate you guys jumping in. Listen, I don't know when the finals are actually going to start. I don't think any of us do because we're still waiting on this series to end. But here's what I do know. I do know that what we have as a team is special. We need to cherish this time. We need to cherish this team that we have. We need to cherish this coaching staff that we have. And like LeBron said, you just never know what it's going to look like. I fully believe that Anthony Davis will be here next year, and he'll be here long term. I think he may even finish his career here. I truly believe him and LeBron are going to be a dynamic duo next year. But we don't know what it's going to look like. And so when you get to these moments after a whole year, it's been an entire 12 months since we've been watching Laker basketball, and this season is still going. And you got to cherish this, and you don't want to miss it. And in a year of 2020 where everything supposedly that could go wrong has gone wrong, this is that one shining moment that you can look at and say, yo, I know that Kobe died, but what a beautiful way to honor him by winning, right? And I know we had pandemics and all this other stuff, and we couldn't be at games and we couldn't do certain things. But man, I get to watch these games with my kids. When I could have been at the bar with my friends, I'm actually sitting at home with my kids, and I'm having a different level of experience. So take advantage of these things, man. Take advantage of the night. Sleep well tonight. Like, this was a well-earned trip to the finals, not just from the player standpoint, but literally from the fan standpoint. We've endured a lot. The finals always start on a Thursday. That's good. Lakers are the team of destiny. Absolutely. October 1st is what you believe. Absolutely. Okay. Thanks for all the post-game entertainment. You guys have been great in your analysis. Thank you so much, man, Jason Jeter. I appreciate it. And listen, Showtime Forum has been through a lot of changes as well. So it's been a long journey. But sleep well tonight. Have a great, relaxing day on Sunday. And then watch some basketball stress-free, knowing that you don't have to wait to see if you're getting to the finals, just knowing that you're in the finals, man. I appreciate y'all. It's been almost an hour. Go celebrate. Go back and watch the replay of the game. Go watch highlights. Go watch post-game. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Guess what? We're going